Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin has shown a slight upward trend, but the recent price action has been relatively range-bound between the support of $110,100 and the resistance of $112,000. The RSI has fluctuated between 37.5 and 49.1, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting decreasing volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term pullbacks while respecting the established range. My strategy involves entering a long position when the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition. Specifically, if the RSI falls to 29.5, enter a long position at $110,500. Place a stop-loss order at $109,800, just below the support level of $110,100, to limit potential losses. Set a target price at $112,200, slightly above the resistance level of $112,000, to secure profits. If the RSI reaches 75, consider taking partial profits and moving the stop-loss to break even. This strategy combines RSI signals with support and resistance levels and Bollinger Bands to manage risk and maximize potential returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum has shown a volatile trend with consistent support at $4,270. The RSI fluctuates between 48.8 and 56.2, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions consistently. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has recently been near the lower band, suggesting a potential for a bounce. The forecast for the next week indicates a slight downward trend initially, followed by a potential recovery. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy with a focus on capitalizing on potential rebounds from the support level. Specifically, I suggest entering a long position at $4,330. Given the support level at $4,270, set a stop-loss at $4,260 to limit potential losses. The initial target price should be $4,450, aligning with the recent resistance level and the center of the Bollinger Bands. If the price reaches $4,450, consider setting a trailing stop-loss to protect profits. If the price breaks through $4,450, a secondary target price of $4,780 can be considered, corresponding to the overall resistance level. This strategy combines RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a slight upward trend. The RSI consistently fluctuating around the 40 to 50 range suggests a neutral to slightly bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of volatility, with prices occasionally touching the lower band, suggesting potential oversold conditions. Given the forecast price increasing from $2.9 to $3.0, a long position strategy is recommended. We will implement a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns. Our strategy will initiate a long position when the RSI falls below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. Specifically, we will enter a long position at $2.7. The stop-loss will be set just below the support level at $2.65 to protect against unexpected downside. The initial target price will be the resistance level of $3.05, yielding a profit of 3.05 plus 2.7 is equal to $5.75. If the price reaches the initial target, we will adjust the stop-loss to the entry price of $2.7 to secure profits and allow for further upside potential. This dynamic approach combines technical indicators and price levels to optimize risk-reward ratios and capitalize on the forecasted upward trend of XRP. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows a generally upward trend, supported by the consistently rising Bollinger Bands and the recent forecast prices. The RSI fluctuates between 51 and 60, indicating neither extreme overbought nor oversold conditions. We'll implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns. First, we'll initiate a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, anticipating a bounce back towards the center. Specifically, enter a long position at $845. Place a stop-loss order at $830, just below the lower Bollinger Band to mitigate potential losses if the price continues to decline. Set a target profit at $896, aligning with the forecast price and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI dips below 30 while the price is near the lower Bollinger Band, it confirms an oversold condition, strengthening the buy signal. Conversely, if the RSI approaches 80 while the price nears the upper Bollinger Band, we'll consider taking partial profits or tightening stop-loss orders. For example, if the RSI reaches 78 while the price is at $896, consider selling half the position to secure profits. This combined approach, using both Bollinger Bands and RSI, aims to capitalize on the upward trend while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will prioritize the combined strategy, with adjustments based on real-time RSI readings. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana shows an overall upward trend with consistent support at $211. The RSI consistently fluctuates around 50 to 60, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increasing volatility and potential for price movement. Considering the forecast prices, which predict a rise to $226, I propose a long-term investment strategy. The entry price will be $217, coinciding with the most recent closing price and the start of the forecast period. A stop-loss order will be placed at $211, just below the support level, to protect against potential downturns. The initial target price will be $226, aligning with the highest forecast price, offering a substantial profit margin. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate RSI signals. If the price dips and RSI falls below 30, consider entering a long position at $197 with a stop-loss at $175 and a target price of $218. Conversely, if the price rises and RSI exceeds 70, consider taking profits at $217. The portfolio will prioritize the long-term trend, utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for tactical entry and exit points. This blended approach aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively, capitalizing on the anticipated upward momentum of Solana. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows an upward trend with increasing momentum. The RSI consistently moved above 45, indicating strengthening bullish sentiment, with values reaching 60.1, nearing overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering the support at $0.223 and resistance at $0.242, and the forecast predicting prices above $0.233, I recommend a long position. The entry price should be $0.233, with a stop-loss set at $0.223 to protect against a potential reversal. The initial target price is $0.242, aligning with the immediate resistance level. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, it signals an oversold condition, and when it exceeds 70, it indicates an overbought condition. The forecast suggests a continued upward trend. Therefore, I will maintain a long position with an entry price of $0.233, a stop-loss at $0.223, and a target price of $0.245, aiming to capture the forecasted price increase. If the price reaches $0.245, I will consider taking profits and reevaluating the market conditions. This portfolio combines trend analysis, support and resistance levels, and technical indicators for a high-probability, high-return investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON has shown a decreasing trend with significant volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuated, dipping below 30 on September 7, 2025, indicating an oversold condition. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting a potential breakout. The forecast data indicates a continued slight downward trend, with prices hovering around $0.33. Therefore, I recommend a contrarian strategy capitalizing on potential rebounds from the oversold territory. We will initiate a long position at $0.333, placing a stop-loss at $0.322, just below the support level. Our initial target price will be $0.342, aligning with the center of the Bollinger Bands and a reasonable profit margin. To maximize returns, we will implement a dynamic target adjustment based on the Bollinger Bands. If the price reaches $0.342, we will move the stop loss to break even to protect profits. If the price continues to rise and touches the upper Bollinger Band, around $0.367, we will take partial profits, securing 50% of our initial position at $0.367 and leaving the remaining 50% to run with a revised target of $0.37. This tiered approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on potential upside while safeguarding against a sudden reversal. This strategy combines RSI signals, Bollinger Band analysis, and support/resistance levels to create a robust and adaptive trading plan. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a sideways trend with fluctuating RSI and Bollinger Bands. The RSI has been oscillating around the 50 mark, indicating neither strong bullish nor bearish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been relatively wide, suggesting volatility, but the price has largely remained within their range. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to hover around $23.2 to $23.5, indicating a continuation of the sideways trend. Therefore, I recommend a range-bound trading strategy focusing on short-term price fluctuations. My strategy involves entering long positions when the RSI dips below 48 and the price touches the support level of $22.2, setting an entry price at $22.3. The stop loss should be placed just below the support at $22.1 to protect against a potential breakdown. The target price for this trade would be $23.3, near the resistance level and the forecast price. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 53 and the price approaches the resistance of $23.4, I would enter a short position with an entry price of $23.3, a stop loss at $23.5, and a target price of $22.8. This approach aims to capitalize on the sideways movement while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH has been fluctuating within a range, testing the support price of $4,600 and the resistance price of $5,140. The RSI indicator consistently remains within the 49 to 56 range, suggesting a neutral to slightly bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the lower band, indicating potential oversold conditions. Considering the recent price action and the forecast, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $4,630, coinciding with a recent price level and near the support price. A stop-loss order will be placed at $4,600, just below the support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $4,710, aligning with the forecast price for September 10, 2025 Wednesday. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band, we will consider it an oversold signal and enter a long position. If the price reaches the upper band, we will consider it an overbought signal and close the position. The RSI reading of 50 indicates that the asset is neither overbought nor oversold, suggesting a balanced market condition. We will adjust the target price to $4,670, aligning with the forecast price for September 16, 2025 Tuesday. This combined strategy leverages both RSI and Bollinger Bands to identify optimal entry and exit points, aiming for high returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sui shows a slight upward trend with fluctuations. The RSI consistently remains between 39.6 and 51.6, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the price has been testing the $3.2 support level multiple times, and the Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting a potential breakout. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the $3.2 support level and the RSI dips below 40. This would be our entry point at $3.2. Place a stop-loss order at $3.1 to mitigate potential losses if the price breaks below the support. Our initial target price will be $3.47, aligning with the recent resistance level. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price breaks above the upper band, which is currently around $3.81, we will adjust our target price to $3.81. Conversely, if the price fails to sustain above $3.47 and approaches the lower band around $3.11, we will tighten our stop loss to $3.15. This dynamic adjustment ensures we capitalize on upward momentum while minimizing risk. This portfolio combines the RSI oversold strategy with the Bollinger Bands breakout strategy to maximize potential returns while maintaining risk management. The final portfolio will have an entry price of $3.2, a stop loss of $3.1, and a target price of $3.47. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ondo shows a fluctuating trend with recent upward momentum. The price has been oscillating between a support level of $0.901 and a resistance level of $0.984. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently not in overbought or oversold territory, hovering around the mid-40s to low 50s. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper or lower bands. Considering the forecast for the next week, which predicts a generally upward trend, I recommend a long position strategy. My strategy involves entering a long position at $0.933, coinciding with the first forecast price. I will set a stop-loss order at $0.901, just below the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $0.972, aligning with the forecast price for September 16, 2025. If the price reaches this target, I will reassess the market conditions and consider adjusting the target price or implementing a trailing stop-loss to capitalize on further potential gains. This strategy combines the upward forecast, support and resistance levels, and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Polkadot demonstrates an upward trend, supported by consistently closing above the lower Bollinger Band and a recent push above $4. The RSI values, though fluctuating, have generally been trending upward, indicating increasing bullish momentum. Given the support price of $4.1 and resistance at $4.55, the price is likely to continue upward. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. Entry price will be $4. The stop loss will be set at $3.9 to mitigate potential losses if the trend reverses. The initial target price is $4.23, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a reasonable price increase within the current resistance range. To optimize returns, I suggest a tiered target approach. After reaching $4.23, we will move the stop loss to break even, securing the initial investment. The next target will be $4.55, the resistance level, where we will take partial profits. Finally, if the price continues to rise, we will set a final target at $4.8, but with a reduced position size to manage risk. This strategy combines RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels to maximize potential gains while minimizing risk, ensuring a high-return investment in Polkadot. Based on the historical data and forecast, PYTH network shows a volatile trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI consistently fluctuated between 46.2 and 78.9, indicating a mixed sentiment. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been bouncing between the upper and lower bands, suggesting continued volatility. Considering the recent RSI values above 50 and the forecast predicting a price increase to $0.182, I recommend a long position. The entry price will be $0.165. To manage risk, place a stop-loss order at $0.148, coinciding with the support level. The target price will be $0.182, aligning with the forecast and providing a reasonable profit margin. To refine the strategy, I will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band, it signals a potential buying opportunity. If the price touches the upper band, it signals a potential selling opportunity. However, given the current forecast and RSI, I maintain the long position. The strategy will be to buy at $0.165, set a stop loss at $0.148, and target a price of $0.182. This approach combines technical indicators and forecast data to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. The portfolio will be 60% long PYTH network, 30% in stable coins, and 10% in other cryptocurrencies. Based on the historical data and forecast, Avalanche demonstrates an overall upward trend, consistently testing the support price of $24.2 and approaching the resistance price of $35.2. The RSI values fluctuate between 47.2 and 58.6, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show the price generally trading within the band, with occasional touches of the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. The entry price should be $25.5, coinciding with the initial forecast price and a reasonable level after recent price fluctuations. The stop loss should be set at $24.2, aligning with the established support level to limit potential losses. The target price for this long position should be $26.7, based on the final forecast price, representing a significant potential gain. We will use a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands to manage this position. If the RSI falls below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider taking profits or adjusting the stop loss. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80, suggesting an overbought scenario, we will evaluate taking partial profits or tightening the stop loss to protect gains. This blended approach aims to maximize returns while mitigating risks, capitalizing on the identified upward trend in Avalanche. Based on the historical data and forecast, Injective exhibits a mixed trend with periods of volatility. The RSI fluctuating around 45 to 55 suggests neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions recently. However, the forecast indicates a potential upward movement, with prices projected to reach $14.2. Considering the support at $13.7 and resistance at $14.7, a strategy focusing on short-term gains within this range is advisable. I recommend a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for enhanced precision. The primary strategy will be a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and RSI is below 45. Specifically, enter a long position at $13.5, set a stop loss at $13.3 just below the recent low, and target a profit at $14, near the resistance level. If the price breaks above $14, consider a second entry at $13.8 with a stop loss at $13.7 and a target of $14.2. This combined strategy aims to capitalize on potential upward momentum while mitigating risk with well-defined stop-loss levels. The RSI and Bollinger Bands provide complementary signals, increasing the probability of successful trades. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethena shows a clear upward trend, breaking through the resistance level of $0.846. The RSI indicates that the asset is approaching the overbought territory, with a current reading of 62.4, but the forecast suggests continued upward momentum. The Bollinger Bands also confirm this, with the price consistently near the upper band. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.755, placing a stop-loss order at $0.729, just below the support level. Our initial target price will be $0.816, aligning with the forecast and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate a trailing stop-loss. Once the price reaches $0.816, we will move the stop-loss to $0.781, the previous high. If the price continues to rise, we will adjust the stop-loss again, maintaining a buffer of at least $0.05 from the recent high. Our final target price is $0.828, based on the forecast for September 16, 2025. This approach combines the momentum of the upward trend with risk management, ensuring we capitalize on potential gains while protecting against significant losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Celestia shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating between the support of $1.65 and the resistance of $1.83. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently not significantly overbought or oversold, hovering around the mid-range. However, the forecast for the next week suggests a continued upward trajectory, with prices potentially reaching $1.82. Considering the Bollinger Bands, the price is currently approaching the lower band, which could signal a potential buying opportunity. Therefore, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $1.68. A stop loss should be placed slightly below the support level at $1.64 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price should be set at the resistance level of $1.83, aiming for a substantial profit. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at the lowest price, $1.51, with a stop loss at $1.49 and a target price of $1.86. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or above, signaling an overbought condition, we will avoid entering a position. Considering the Bollinger Bands, if the price touches the lower band, we will enter a long position at $1.51, set a stop loss at $1.48, and target the upper band at $1.87. Combining these elements, a portfolio of these three strategies will yield the most efficient results, prioritizing the long position with an entry price of $1.68, a stop loss of $1.64, and a target price of $1.83. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ether.fi exhibits an upward trend, consistently testing and surpassing the support level of $1.15. The RSI values fluctuate between 43 and 58, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions, but generally leaning towards a bullish sentiment. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently approaching the upper band, suggesting a potential for a breakout. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $1.18. The stop loss will be set at $1.15 to protect against unexpected downturns. Our initial target price will be $1.24, coinciding with the forecast price for September 12, 2025. To optimize returns, I propose a layered approach. We will take partial profits at $1.24, securing a portion of the gains. Subsequently, we will adjust the stop loss to the entry price of $1.18, effectively turning the trade into a break-even position. If the price continues to rise, we will target $1.28. The combination of RSI, Bollinger Bands, and trend analysis suggests a high probability of continued upward movement. This layered strategy allows us to capitalize on potential gains while mitigating risk through dynamic stop-loss adjustments. Based on the historical data and forecast, the graph shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating within a range, testing the support and resistance levels. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently not significantly overbought or oversold, with values generally between 40 and 60. However, the recent increase in RSI towards 60 suggests a potential short-term upward momentum. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently near the middle band, indicating low volatility. Considering the forecast prices, which predict a continued increase, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.0927. The stop loss should be set slightly below the support level at $0.087 to mitigate potential losses. The target price for this trade will be $0.0995, aligning with the forecast high and providing a reasonable profit margin. To manage risk, I suggest a portfolio strategy combining the RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. The RSI strategy will be the primary driver, entering long when the RSI is below 30 and exiting when it reaches 70. The Bollinger Bands will act as a confirmation, with the price approaching the upper band indicating a potential buy signal and the lower band suggesting a potential sell signal. Finally, support and resistance levels will be used to define stop loss and target prices, ensuring the trade remains within a profitable range. This integrated approach should maximize returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Worldcoin demonstrates a strong upward trend, particularly evident in the recent surge from $1.62 to $1.93. The RSI values have consistently risen, nearing overbought territory, and the Bollinger Bands are expanding, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price appreciation. The forecast for the next week projects continued growth, reaching $2.1. Given this bullish outlook, I recommend a long position strategy. We will initiate a long position at $1.39, placing a stop-loss order at $1.3 to protect against a potential pullback. The initial target price will be $1.6, aiming to capitalize on the short-term upward momentum. To further refine this strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position at $1.49, with a stop-loss at $1.4. If the price touches the lower band of the Bollinger Bands, which is $1.3, it suggests a potential buying opportunity. Our ultimate target price will be $1.94, aligning with the forecast and capitalizing on the overall bullish trend. This multi-layered approach allows us to adapt to market fluctuations while maximizing potential returns.